Let's see here. Well, hello. I know it's going to take a while for people to start showing up. It is very windy today, and I decided to come down to downtown Decatur, Illinois to show everybody downtown Decatur, Illinois if you've never been here before. So I'll wait a little bit until people kind of start showing up. And sorry for any wind noise in the microphone. The wind's coming out of the south, and we'll be heading into the south. And I'll stand over here by my truck until people start joining, and then I'll turn the camera around and start showing you downtown Decatur, Illinois. It is around 51 degrees right now. It is supposed to get up to about 71 today, Fahrenheit wise. And this area that I'm at right now, there actually used to be this used to be a walking mall. So I'll turn this around and start showing you. Okay, flip the camera around. Flip, flip, flip. Wow, I guess I don't want to flip. Flip the camera. There we go. Now we flip the camera. All right, so this area right here used to house a mess load of stores, and this used to be a walking mall right here. And in this spot right here used to be K's Merchandise. And I don't know if you had a K's Merchandise where you lived. And then part of it was right here, and then where that building is, the other part was over there. They had it in two different buildings because of so many items to sell. This side had like the toys and bicycles, and I can't remember what else. Sorry for any wind noise that is on here. I can't help that. It's a very windy day today. But anyway, they tore this all down and built this little, I guess you would call it kind of a park. And I'll explain this statue over here, and I'll try to keep as much wind off the microphone as I can. That way over there where you see Avon, that is actually one of the oldest theaters in this town, and it is still going. It's actually got the biggest screen in town. So anyway, this right here is to commemorate all the black soldiers during the Civil War. And as you can see, we have Lincoln on there, if I can learn how to run this gimbal, and then of course some other little items up there as well. But yeah, this is what they have on here. You can pause and read, as we would say in YouTube. But yeah, this was to commemorate the black soldiers during the Civil War. Now, Decatur during the Civil War was a stop-off point, and Millikan University that is here, they used to use their grounds as like a like a hospital type thing. And one of the buildings that used to be there was very haunted, and it's been recently tore down because Millikan's trying to grow and build new things on their campus. And I don't know if you've heard of ADM, which is Archer's Daniel Midland Company. That factory is housed here. And they make a lot of your food that you eat. They use a lot of soybeans and other products. But they actually, I'm assuming, either rent this building or they own it, one of the two. But like I said, that there is the Avon Theater down there. It's kind of hard for me to see the screen because it's very bright outside. And I have one of those screen protectors to where it's kind of dark. You can't see from the sides. So it's kind of hinders my view of the screen a little bit. But it is one of the oldest theaters in town. And we'll stop right here. Oh, they call this Preston Jackson Park. I never did know what they called this. So I don't know who Preston Jackson is. So we'll walk off this direction. And then down this way is where our Civic Center is. They actually have a like kind of a Comic-Con thing going on down here right now. My sons went to it yesterday. They said it was pretty cool. They said that the guy who does the voice for Sonic is there, and Buff Bagwell was there, and I can't remember who else they said was there. One other celebrity. And if you say anything, I'm sorry if I can't say anything back to you because I can barely see my screen. This building right here, which is now houses more items or more things for ADM. This used to be the public library. They've actually moved several times. So back over this direction here, we used to have one of those Carnegie libraries, and it was a beautiful building. And I don't know why they decided to, but they had decided to tear it down. And when they did, they moved into this building. This building right here, when I was a kid, used to house JCPenney in there. And actually Sears used to be in this building before the library moved in there. But we'll come down here by the Civic Center and or maybe I'll just stop here. But we have the memorial down there for I think it's World War II memorial. I don't want these anybody complaining that I'm filming them, so but we used to house, and it started back in the 80s, what they called the Decatur Celebration. It was 3 days, and in those 3 days, about 300,000 people used to show up. And it was about 18 city blocks down here were blocked off. And you can come down here and eat all kinds of different foods and see all kinds of different bands play and whatever else they had brought down here. And it went on until I think right before COVID happened, and it pretty much died after that. So I think it just got to the point where a lot of people weren't coming anymore, and then they started charging because it was a free event. And so once they started charging for people to come in to do that, then it just pretty much died. People didn't want to pay for it anymore. But over here in this parking lot where they would have the rides and stuff like that. But now they have those awnings there are solar, so I think they're trying to harness the sun. And sorry for any wind noise that you hear on the microphone, because we are headed east. Now that red top building over there, that is our bus station, and the big building on the corner is the post office. And another note for you, where the Civic Center is now used to be where Stephen Decatur High School used to be. And I remember seeing that when I was a kid. And I moved to Decatur from Taylorville, Illinois when I was about 3 years old. And pretty much been here my whole life. I did live in northern Illinois for about 3 years. And then I went to southern Illinois for a trade school for about 3 months. And then came back here. I'm trying to keep the wind off the microphone. And of course that statue right there is a statue of Stephen Decatur himself. They used to have these pillars on the building for the school, and they took them off when they knocked it down, and they put them over here to the statue. Well, I don't know if people were trying to destroy them or something, so they just kind of stopped. Alright, so this here is actually if I can get my gimbal right here. This here is the tallest building in town, and it is under construction. There used to be like a big C on the top of it that lit up, and it did different things. And if you knew what the lighting on it meant, it showed you what the weather was going to do. See if I can. All right. Well, my gimbal's acting up. So my gimbal is from the TikTok shop. There we go. And as you can see, they've been painting murals throughout downtown, and I think they got this kind of fenced off because they're remodeling that building. But that used to be the Citizens building, and there was a big C on top that lit up. But we'll go across the street here. I haven't had this gimbal very long, and I haven't used it very much, so I'm having a little problems with the buttons on it. It is charged. if I can control it. So we're going to come down here to Central Park, and there is a building down here which is our transfer house, and it used to sit right in the center of Main and Main Street. And back in when it first sat there, it was the hub that you went to downtown to get off on we used to have trolleys here back in the day, and you took a trolley downtown, you got off of there, and then it turned into buses. But that is our transfer house right there. And this is Central Park. Now this waterfall thing, which I wish was going, but it's not. It's changed. They changed the design on it about 3 times, I think. The last one, this looked like a freaking bowl, and it wasn't very attractive, and that's why you see that one there. And for some reason I can't get, there we go. This thing is very sensitive. Let's see, there should be some pictures left over of where it sat where it did. So anyway, there are some pictures of it right there, of the trolleys that we used to have, and it sat right there in the center of Main and Main Street. And there's another picture of that back in the day, and we will head over there in that area, and I'll show you what it looks like today. But Decatur used to, we used to have a lot of presidents that came here back in the day, and it used to be a very prominent town that people would come to, and you know, over the years it declined like any other city. Now the public library is over here, and that actually housed Sears for a while. So it seems like when Sears left the building, the library went to it, and that's where it pretty much is going to stay now. And they totally redid this park as well. This over here used to have a wall that went around the back side of it, and they took that wall down, and these black things that you see sitting there, they will actually push a button and it creates a wall. So they have bands that will come here every now and again and play, and this used to not be all grass. I think this was actually like brick or something that they had out here at one time, and they took it all up and made it into grass. But just like any other city, Decatur's declining, and people are moving out. And actually, Lincoln used to come here all the time when he was a lawyer, and when he was president, he would come here. So the First National Bank, which is, I think, Busey Bank now, this is Decatur's oldest bank. And of course, you have the Decatur Area Arts Council that's in this building here. I don't know what this all housed at one time, but now it houses the Decatur Area Arts Center. I do remember that Flora Gems used to be, it had always been there. I don't think anything else has ever been in that building that I know of. There could have been, but ever since I've lived here, that's always been. Nothing else has ever been in that building that I know of. There could have been, but ever since I've lived here, that's always been. If I can get my gimbal right. The courthouse is on down the road to the next block. And you'll see stuff like this throughout downtown of showing you about Abraham Lincoln. These actually were kind of copper looking, I think, when they brought them out here. But as you know, when copper sits out in the rain and the elements, it turns this color. Now we're going to walk down here to another mural. Sorry for any wind noise that is on the microphone. It is a very windy day today. I was live for a while yesterday for the first time. So yesterday was my first time going live on TikTok. I don't know if Napoli's is still open, but there used to be a Italian restaurant in there. I forgot the name of it. And they had really, really good food. So I don't know if you know this, but Decatur was the original home for the Chicago Bears. And before they were named the Chicago Bears, they were named the Decatur Staleys. And we still have this Staley manufacturing company named the Decatur Staleys. And we still have this Staley manufacturing company here. It's been sold twice since then. Right here is Main and Main Street. So right in the center of that intersection is where the transfer house used to sit. But we'll come to that in just a moment here. This used to be a hotel, and now it is the Macon County office building. But this used to be a hotel, and now it is the Macon County office building. But what I want to see, in 1920, George Hallis was hired by A.E. Staley to head out this Staley to head out this in Decatur. And as you can see, as we move along, it tells you. And then they were only here for 1 year. So then Staley decided to move it to Chicago the next year. And and in 1922, he changed the name to the Chicago Bears. Now, I think when the Chicago Bears went to Chicago, them and the Cubs had shared a stadium together. I can't prove that, but I think that's what it was. And then, of course, the Bears, I think they were at Wrigley Field for a while there, and then they made their own stadium. So in 1956, Chicago Bears hosted Staley Day, and in 1967, George Hallis retired as the coach of the Bears. But there used to be all kinds of buildings and stuff here. There used to be a dairy company that was down there for a long time, and they, of course, went out of business, and then it got knocked down. But we'll walk down here. I'm trying to stay out of the wind as much as possible, but it's not going to happen. So if any wind noise, I'm sorry. I hope this isn't stopping and starting like it does on YouTube when I'm on there live. It will also pause and then people leave. And but I want to show you another mural is what I'm trying to get at, and then we'll go back the other way. And there is the courthouse right over there. That building right there used to be the Orlando Hotel, which is now the apartments for the elderly, and the front entrance to that still looks like the 1920s. But what I want to show you is this mural down here. So somebody had painted up a train on that building over there, and I thought that was kind of neat. So we will come back down this way. And if you say anything, I'm sorry if I don't comment back, because I can barely see my screen out here in the brightness. And actually, this building right here is owned by Warren Buffett. Now this would be Highway 51, which is also Main Street, and it goes one way south. There used to be a Chinese place over here, and they had closed down. They were there for a long time. I don't know if you can see the green on the building over there, but I think that's where they were. And I never did eat there though. But and then you got the River Coffee Company that is over there. And we'll come down here. And now the Lincoln Theater, that is the oldest theater, and it is still used to have concerts in there. And actually that theater is haunted. Decatur has a lot of haunted places, and during Halloween there is a guy who has studied up on all the haunted places in this area and probably other areas, and he does tours during Halloween. Guy who has studied up on all the haunted places in this area and probably other areas, and he does tours during Halloween time, and they do that at night. They'll take you to Greenwood Cemetery, which is right down here, and that cemetery housed, they would actually bury people alive in that cemetery during the Civil War that they knew was basically going to die anyway, and they couldn't really, we didn't have the knowledge or the things we have today to save people, so they would basically bury people alive in that cemetery down there, and it is a very haunted cemetery. And I don't know why, but a lot of the black people around here, they get buried in that cemetery. So I mean, it's kind of strange that they do that. But anyway, here it is. This is where Abraham Lincoln had done his very first political speech. Like I said, sorry for any wind noise, and I'm trying desperately to keep it off, but it's not working too well. So this here is Merchant Street, and they've changed the direction. This is a one-way road, so they've changed the direction of it several times. That you went one direction the other way, and now they made it back this way. I don't know why they did that. And but yeah, there's this building here when I was younger was called the Dormouse, and of course they went out of business, and I don't know if anything's in there now or not. Yeah, well, and then there are apartments up here at the top, and people do live in most of those apartments. There might be some that are empty. And Dell's Popcorn, if you ever want to have the best popcorn in the world, come to Dell's Popcorn. When they make their popcorn balls, they're sold out all the time. And then down here at the top, which I think they are part of that corner part at the top, and maybe a little bit over, is Taproot, which I used to go up there a lot when it was a different name. And then of course, if you like cigars, there's Goodfellas. And Donnie's Homespun Pizza moved down here to this spot. I used to play, when I used to play music, I would played a little bit with the owner of this establishment. And then of course you have Coney McCain's, which has excellent food. So if you ever come to Decatur, come to Coney McCain's and have a meal with them. But a lot of these places have been here for a long time. Now that building where it says Decatur Regional Chamber of Commerce, that is a new building. That building actually, before they built this one, the one that was standing there before, used to be Carson Peary Scott. I don't know if you ever heard of that store before, but that's where Carson Peary Scott used to sit. And then they went out of business, and this building sat for a while, and then they tore it down and built that. And then there used to be a high-end women's clothing store in there, and I think they finally moved out. And but I have not eaten at the Gin Mill. I heard they have pretty good food in there. But we'll take a look down here on Main Street, and hopefully I won't get ding for any music that's playing from Coney McCain's here. But these buildings, I had a friend of mine who used to live up here, and I don't know if they're open or not. I think they're not open on Sundays. But anyway, yeah, 1891 is when these buildings were built. And as you can see, they are still standing here. And of course, a lot of them, they don't have anything going on upstairs. Yeah, my friend used to live right up here a long time ago. And these are actually pretty cool up there. But they do need to be remodeled. And that place where it says Hot Shots, there used to be several places inside there. I can't remember the name of the restaurant that was in there before. They used to have a lot of kind of famous acts come in there and play. And then, of course, down the way a little bit is Annie's Thai Cuisine. So if you're hungry for some Thai food, we do have some of that here. And then the very last end of that building, when I was in school or when I was younger, there used to be a place called Making Music. And when I in grade school, that's when I learned how to play trumpet. And I think that's where we bought my trumpet, was from them. And they called this the Herald Block. And then that building over there, that was the library block. But we'll head back this other way. Yeah, they're going to be having some bands coming in here. In fact, I think was yesterday. They had a Metallica tribute band, a Molly Hatchet, and one other person, or two other groups in there, or coming there. So Metallica tribute band was there on the 12th. I don't know what day it is. There, or coming there. So Metallica tribute band was there on the 12th. I don't know what day it is. What day? So Molly Hatchet's going to be here on the 19th and playing inside that theater. The most haunted part of that theater is actually the stage. And there was a stagehand that was up on the catwalk, and I think he fell to his death. And they say his ghost is inside that theater still. And then as you see, it says Twitty and Lynn. I do not know who that is. And then that's What She Said band. I don't know who they are either, but they will be there on the 25th. This used to be a clothing store. It was called Quiggles. And they were there for many, many years, and then they went out of business. And now it is Heritage Behavioral Center. And they are actually remodeling the inside of that building and making it fit what they need. It's kind of neat in there. So we'll go back this way, and with some more wind noise. They might be. Yeah, they're closed today here at Coney McCain's. They're closed today and tomorrow. And used to be, this is where you used to go in at Coney McCain's. They were just right here. And then they bought the place next to it and expanded out. And then the Brass Horn, this is a high-end men's clothing store. And then they built one next to it and started doing kind of a high-end women's clothing on this side. And then they got kids next to it. And this is the Science Christian. This has always been here, the Christian Science Room. Of course, there is your gin bill. And sorry for any wind noise microphone. This is a place called GK9's, and I've not been in there either. You'll just have to turn your microphone or your speakers down until I can get out of this wind. And then This place on the corner, they are relatively new. They're called Murphy & Co. They have kitchen and home decor, and they have all kinds of neat things in there. And then of course we're back here to Central Park, and then there is your another monument to the Civil War park, and then there is your another monument to the Civil War. And during one of the Decatur celebrations that we had down here, which always happened the first weekend of August, we don't have them anymore. I saw a lot of famous acts during this celebration. And of course, this mural here, they came up with, he was one of our mayors, and I think he died of cancer. So somebody had come up with the idea to paint a mural in his honor. There is a store called the Art Farm, and I know the person that owns that facility, and she sells all the local people's art, and there's a lot of cool things in there. So we'll go back this way. And I really hope that I have a good signal, that it hasn't stopped and started and jumped and all kinds of stuff. And we're still in here watching and interested in my live stream. Like I said, I can't see a lot of things. I do see where it just says that people had joined the so if you like what you're seeing, please give me a like. And if you'd like to follow, please do that as well. And you can also see me on YouTube on John McKee's World. And if you're on Clapper, I'm on there under Coinstar Studio 1. I'll try to get out of all this wind. But yeah, this all used to be buildings right here. And then they tore them all down because of the decline of Decatur. And if it wasn't for probably ADM and I think it's called Privient now. It used to be Staley, and then it went to another name. And but if it wasn't for those factories, Decatur would basically be a ghost town. So Decatur would basically be a ghost town. So and then that building right there, it's called Doherty's. They have one of the oldest one-lane bowling alleys. It's called Doherty's. They have one of the oldest one-lane bowling alleys inside that building. But Striglow's, they are a office company. They sell all kinds of stuff for your offices and what have you. But we'll come over here. We basically kind of did a huge circle. And but this here is Downtown Decatur. not as lively as it used to be. I'm going to turn this around. Let's see here if I can. They need to put the some of this stuff in a different spot. All right, so that is downtown Decatur, and if you've never been here, this is what you'll see. And sorry for any wind noise. I hope I had a good signal the whole time, and I know when I get on YouTube it cuts in and out a lot. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that tour of downtown Decatur. I do have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel of Decatur. I've walked around all the old neighborhoods showing you the big houses that were built when Decatur started, and around the Lake Decatur and places around there, and different events here and there. So yeah, just go check that out at John McKee's World on YouTube. And yeah, so I think this is probably going to about conclude my video. I will go live again probably usually on the weekends. I'll go live if I'm going to walk around, and we'll go to Fairview Park, which actually where I was going to go in the first place, and show you the bikini tree. But I think I'll do that on the next live, and when I'm out walking around. But I do have a video of the bikini tree. It's always changing, so everybody always paints a different bikini on that tree, and it's been a tradition for a very long time. And so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of here, and you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll catch you again another day.